1, 2, 3.
On the Texas A&M Sports Network from Learfield, welcome to the Coach Jimbo Show, presented by Capital Farm Credit. Together, we're better. Also brought to you in part by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. Visit rudys.com to find real Texas barbecue near you. And by Bud Light, it's for the fans. Now, welcome to the Coach Jimbo Show.
It is the Jimbo Fisher Show, and we are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station, and the Jimbo Fisher Show once again presented by Capital Farm Credit. We did not get a chance to do this last year. You and I got together in the south end zone of Kyle Field. We still had the Jimbo Fisher Show, but we have missed this, have we not?
We really have. Missed
Howdy,
all the
Coach.
people and getting here. Howdy. It's great to be here. Great to see everybody, and great to eat some good food again.
Yeah, absolutely.
like that's the last thing I need. No offense, but that's the last thing I need. But it is good to be back.
Here we go. We go from camp to game week, and obviously the first Jimbo Fisher Show. We creep towards normalcy. Jimbo, last fall, we weren't sure when student athletes were going to come back. Really made it work, though, Jimbo. And we've talked about this throughout the state when you had your coaches' nights. A lot of credit goes to the student athletes themselves, and a lot of credit goes to the medical staff and the training staff to keep them safe and put together that 9-1 record.
It was unbelievable, the amount of people that could set things up for these kids to be able to function and do what they did, and then the kids to go out and do it with a disciplined frame of mind and not jeopardize anything that was going on. We were amazing in what we did, and our kids did a tremendous, tremendous job, and deserved everything they got. Like I said, whoever could handle the adversity the greatest was going to prosper, and we did a really good job of that. Our kids did a really good job of that, and the organization and the people in our organization, from the administration to the medical people to our coaches, assistant coaches, everybody did a really good job.
9-1, win the Orange Bowl, finish ranked number 4. And I know you talk about how teams are different. Last year's team is not this year's team. Each team has the identity. But if there seems to be a carryover, Jimbo, that carryover for a lot of your leaders is, this is how we prepared to win on Saturdays. And for the new Aggies coming in, this is what you must do if you're ready to play on Saturday.
Oh, it is. I mean, listen, there's a standard. There's a standard of excellence that you have to meet every day to prepare yourself to have excellence on the field. And that standard can't move. In today's time, today's world, we want to move the standard for everybody to make everybody happy. It doesn't work that way. On the field, there's no you got to meet that criteria, and you got anything you got to do is go higher if that happens. And hopefully understanding that, and hopefully we'll get to where we got a lot of room to improve, though. I mean, I see us. I mean, we make some good plays. We got good things to do. Got good players. Got good coaches, but at the same time, I see so much that we're leaving out there, and so hopefully it doesn't hurt us on this weekend, and that we can continue to get better. But that's part of it. You're going to continue to get better each and every week, and hopefully we've done enough, which I think we've had a good camp, really have. So we just got to play well.
There is a saying, there is a shirt that your players wear: standard over feelings.
Yeah,
it is a great motto.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you have something to do, you have a job to do, you have to meet a standard of excellence. Or no matter how you feel, I don't feel good, I'm sick, I got something going on somewhere else, I got this problem. Now you're going to have 2 problems if you don't. I mean, whatever your feelings are, we get caught up in our feelings. Feelings are a choice. Feelings are a choice of how you feel. I mean, when you do things like that, when you got work to do and things that happen, you've got to learn to prioritize, push on. I ain't saying it's easy, right, but neither is winning. Neither is success. And I don't care whether it's on the field, in business, in life, whatever it is, it's all the same criteria. Your feelings don't matter as far as not being able to do your job. Now, if there's something seriously wrong, or that's a different deal. I mean, we didn't work that, but I'm tired. I'm sick. I'm a little. You got to go. Yeah, got to go.
And you say the standard, you never go backwards.
The standard's here. It never lowers. It never moves. The only thing it's ever going to do is go up as people increase their level of expertise in what they do and their execution and talent. That's only going to go up. It's never going down.
Yeah. He is Jimbo Fisher. He's the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies. This is the Jimbo Fisher Show, and it's presented by Capital Farm Credit. We're going to take our first break, and then we'll come back to Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. The Jimbo Fisher Radio Show is presented by Capital Farm Credit. Capital Farm Credit, together, we're better. As we continue from Rudy's with the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies, and this is going to be my comment. Glad to have you around for a lot longer. Congratulations on the extension.
Oh, thank you. Glad to be here. It's a wonderful place, and like I said, I love it here. I feel very comfortable here, and hopefully we can continue to do great things here. And we have a tremendous administration, tremendous the Board of Regents, the 12th man, everything here is such in line. And they see as one, they be as one, and they understand their commitment to everything that goes on. And I can't thank them enough. I'm very, very humbled by what they have done, but very happy to be here and hopefully be here for a long, long time.
We are thrilled that you are here. And you've always said this about Aggies. Not Aggie football fan. You've said this about Aggies. Genuine people,
real people. And love being around them, love the atmosphere, love the environment, just love everything about it.
Jimbo, you brought up the camp. How was camp for you this fall? The competitiveness and all that went on.
It was the old school camp, which was happening a little faster, a little quicker. But guys competed. We had a lot of guys battling for jobs, wanting to get playing time, wanting to do things, and it was very good. I mean, offense and defense going against each other, offensive players challenging, wanting to buy that. There's only so much time in a game. Who can get the reps and what goes on, and that's when you really become a good team, when you can raise each other's game and practice every day, because you have to. If you don't, somebody's going to bypass you. And so hopefully we've done that. Some areas which, we're still banged and bruised when you come out of camp, like always, but nothing crazy. But, trying to build that depth. A lot of those young players, how many you can get ready.
Yeah.
And that's very important in today's time because, like I said, with injuries, now you even still have COVID issues that you still could have. But just the ability to play a long season and how physical this league is and what our schedule is. And you're going to have to get reps. You have to get those guys experience. And plus, guys, like I say, guys don't stay as long anymore. So you got to get those guys on the field. You got to get them playing. You got to get them going. And very happy with that end of it. And then, the older guys did a really good job. So I thought camp was good. I thought our coaches did a really good job with them. I think we're ready to go, and hopefully we'll be ready to go this weekend.
You start camp, and there's all that excitement, the brand new camp, and towards the end of camp, that game week's coming. It's that in between.
That's when you find out the excitement and news off, and you don't see the end of it. You don't see that game, and then you find out how much you like ball and all the practices and all the things that go on. And I'm gonna tell you, August was extremely hot this year, maybe more so than it has been since I've been here. And a little more humidity, a little more. Like I say, I almost feel like I'm in Florida. I'm getting an afternoon shower every daggone 4:30, 5 o'clock every evening. And no, that's not the Texas I'm used to. You know what I mean? When I first got here, y'all told me it didn't snow. It snowed. I had 10 inches. I had 10 inches at the ranch 2 different times this year already. I mean, and there's no humidity. It's dry heat. Well, no, it doesn't rain a lot. Well, it's this month of July is maybe the worst in the history of Texas in 100 years or something like that. I mean, everything's changing. But no, it was a very hot. It was a very hot camp. It really was, and it takes its toll on you. But also it develops you. You're going to get tired. You're going to get hot. That's when you find out if you're a football player. In the middle of camp and at the end of practices. Now everybody can do it when they're fresh. Everybody can do it when things are going well. And you don't know anything about yourself. You got to push yourself. You got to put yourself in those situations. And I guess I sound like my dad. Kids today, it's not that same as it used to be. And, but that grind of, 2 a days and sometimes 3 a days we used to have back then. But you gotta put some adversity in yourself to find out. And people say it does, you find out, I can play with it. I got to learn to play with adversity. I got to learn to play when I'm tired. I got to learn to, and not just play, but I got to perform well. I got to execute at the same level I do as when I'm fresh. And that's the thing, that getting through that part of it mentally for these young guys, which I thought we did a good job. And you had to in camp this year because it was hot.
Yeah, it was hot. But this team, Jimbo, not just talented, but deep. You got a lot of depth at each position.
Well, we're getting there. I don't know. I'm nervous wreck about 1 or 2 guys getting hurt. You got me having 9 guys. But no, it is. We're getting better players as far as the number of players that we can get in depth to understand what's going on. And that's why I'm being here. Not that we didn't have good players before. We had great players, but the guys have been in the system. So the older guys now can help the younger guys learn quicker.
Yeah.
Because they know what we're going to expect. So when they're away at the door in the first year or two, it was hard because no one knew how to help the young players as much about what to do. You know what I'm saying? They could to a point. But now the older guys have been in the system a long time. They can coach those guys when they're away and the time they spend together, and it lets you develop.
We're going to step aside. This is the Jimbo Fisher Show. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. We're at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. We'll step aside. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. Barker's Heating and Cooling are proud to be the official heating and cooling provider for Aggie Athletics, earning your seal of approval since 1979. Lots changed since then, but our pride in Aggie football and our commitment to providing great service remains as strong as ever. Gig 'em, Aggies. We continue with the Jimbo Fisher Show. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. We are at Rudy's, and we're talking competition. And the one competition everybody asked you in the spring and found out through the summer and through camp, quarterback Haynes King, Zach Calzada. Haynes is the starting quarterback, and you mentioned this during the competition. they raised each other's game.
They
every
did. I
single
mean,
day.
they competed. They did well. They kept raising and getting better and better, which is what you want in competition. I mean, there were some tough days, of course. They had some learning curves and things that went on, but that's part of it. And to me, that's, I want to find out what you're doing on your bad day. I mean, everybody's good on their good day, and you got to learn to win and persevere and still play well when things aren't going right. You got to manage. You can't let critical things happen to you, and you got to fight your way back and do it. And I thought both those guys, their mental toughness is getting better and better each and every day, and how they do things. And very anxious to watch him play. Haynes had an outstanding camp. I thought Zach did. So very anxious to have two really high-quality guys right there. And the young guys behind them are good, too. But just a number of reps and stuff when it goes into camp with those two were really good. But I think we're in good hands.
For Haynes King, it was right after he was announced as starter. Someone interviewed his dad, the head coach at Longview, and he said Haynes understands he's the starter for week 1. That's the only thing he understands.
See, that's a coach. That's the reality of our world.
Yeah.
It's how you got to play, and more importantly, understanding the standards at which you have to do and what you have to do at that position or any position. That once you're anointed to a position, then you have to perform. I wanted the job. Now I got to perform, and if I don't, somebody else takes it. But there's always growing pains with things. But I think he's had an outstanding camp, but understanding that is a big part of having success. You know what I mean? And understanding that how you have to perform each and every day in practice, each and every day, and in every game, the things you have to do to create the habits that allow you to play well in the game. And he does that very well. And of course, the background he has and the dad he has, not only a tremendous dad, but a tremendous coach.
They both mentioned that they weren't competing against one another. They needed to compete against Coach Elko's defense.
Yes, I mean, they're not. You listen. Just because one guy can go out and throw for 250 yards and one guy can throw for 150, I may like the 150 better than the 250 based off the situations he had. The game of football and the situation you have as a quarterback is based on the opportunities in front of you. I mean, did the guys get open? Did they protect for you? What was the situation? What was it down and distance? What was the score? I mean, there's so many things that go into playing well. We get caught in numbers in today's world. That's not always it. Numbers not. You have to be productive, and it's great to do that. Don't get me wrong. You got the right guys around you who was with you at the time. But you're only a product of what is being the opportunities that are in front of you at that present time. And so I think both guys had days where they were really high number-wise and others were lower, but still played really well. So that's what I was happy about. Well, they play them winning football.
I liked your point. How do they react when it's not a good practice day?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we all do. I mean, listen, there are so many talented people in this world in every sport there is. I mean, you see it, guys playing golf. Some guy can go out there and shoot a golf. I mean, he shoots a 66, and he's not even a pro golfer. Then the next day he shoots an 82. You know what I'm saying? And how do those really good ones? That stays in that 70, 72, 73. I mean, maybe it's one over. You're not going great. I can remember so many games when I was a kid. We'd watching and those great quarterbacks. Be a tight game, things going on with Joe Montana, Dan Marino, those certain guys, and all of a sudden they got the ball at the end of the game and haven't really done anything. The old Michael Jordan, be 7 for 22 with 5 minutes to go in the game, and all of a sudden hit 8 shots in a row. Or Dan Marino get the ball, Joe Montana get the ball, go straight down the field and score off a mediocre day. They could really understand that, and that's part of competing. Not letting your feelings, not getting selfish. All right, I did, and I go to the next play, the responsibility I have to my team, and just give me another chance. Those true competitors, and then when those big pressure moments come, those old habits and that competitive nature takes over, and it takes over people. So there's a lot of different qualities involved like that.
It's what separates them at winning time.
Oh, it does. I mean, listen, you're not going to play great every day. You're trying to, and you hope you can. I mean, don't get me wrong. And you have streaks, and you have seasons where you do it, as a player and things. But there's times that, okay, it's not going as well. What do I have to do? I call minimize the damage, maximize my opportunities that are in front of me. And you got to learn to do that.
He's Jimbo Fisher. He's the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies, who take on Kent State on Saturday at Kyle Field. 6 o'clock for our St. Joseph Health pregame show. 7:02 is the kick, and it is a red, white, and blue out as we celebrate the 20-year anniversary. And also, we're hearing about ticket pull. There could be over 38,000 students there as well standing for that. We'll talk about that and much more as the Jimbo Fisher Show, presented by Capital Farm Credit, rolls on. This is Aggie football from Learfield. Fans, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants to provide a trip for 12 to the LSU game on November 27th. To register for the 12th Fan trip, visit 12thman.com/12thfan. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is a proud corporate partner of Texas A&M Athletics. As we continue with the Jimbo Fisher Show, it is presented by Capital Farm Credit. We are back at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. A couple people to pass along. Someone who doesn't want me to point him out because he likes to stay in the background, but our engineer is Kevin Menschow. And Tony O'Neill is our producer in our Learfield studios. This is the only way it works, is with those two. Jimbo, the competition for the quarterback took an awful lot of attention. But as we talked about the depth and the talent, there was competition all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
And that really raised.
Young linemen battling for time with the older guys coming in. And I tell you what, I was very happy with the camp they had. I thought Josh did an excellent job with those guys. I mean, you know, you're always pushing and challenging, but, man, those guys are physical. They're athletic. Really knowledge-wise, give them every blitz known to man, brought twists, stunts, angles, just making them. And plus the guys are blocking every day. I mean, that's a really good defensive line group. So I was very pleased with the competition in there. Our young tight ends that keep evolving, getting them back. Our running backs, those young running backs that come in, I feel very comfortable with those guys. Very talented guys, going to be really good players with the older guys. Receivers kept developing, getting better. Secondary guys, linebackers, really, because that was open more there that guys had to fight for. And I think we've developed some really good things there. And depth up front, you know, and building the depth with the guys we got up front. So very pleased in that regard. And the kicking game.
Yeah.
I mean, we got some guys can kick that football now, and can field goals, PATs, and then as far as kickoffs and stuff, our punter Nick is outstanding. Our snappers and our backup long snappers. I mean, Connor Choate was our 12th man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was picking that guy, and it's a little different, but man, that guy's been so good in what he does, and how many times when your hands are on that ball and you're snapping it, and what he's doing, how he's doing it. And the depth behind those guys. Jacob Graham is doing a really good job in that group. Behind them, our kickers, Caden Davis and Seth, both were outstanding in camp. Nick, that whole special teams unit, you talk about them, and some guys you don't talk about them all the time. That means they're doing their job. Because everybody's always, you don't talk about special teams guys sometimes where they do something wrong. But those guys have been really outstanding. I thought had good camps along with our return game.
Let me stay with Connor Choate, the 12th man. One, it is an absolute honor, you've always said, to be able to select the next. And here's Connor that you reminded everyone on Monday. He turned down a scholarship to come to Texas A&M.
Well, he was on a scholarship and transferred in.
Yep.
He was on a scholarship and gave it up and came down here and wanted to come to school here. And, it says a lot. And not just, but then the way he affects guys daily, his work ethic, his habits, and he's got such a magnetic personality. I mean, he's always got a smile on his face. They're always laughing, giggling, goofing around. You daggone goofy. I mean, I get on him all the time, but he's so. I mean, you'll go over there and be upset for something a period before, and we'll get back in special teams, and I'll be around him about 3 minutes, and I'm laughing, I'm smiling. You know what I mean? He brings it out, and that it's infectious, and he loves being on the field, and he does his job as good as anybody I've been around.
He said that after he was told, he called Braden White. After talking to Braden, he said he would run through a brick wall. He said Braden had him all fired up.
Let me tell you something. Braden White's as fine a human being as there is. I mean, I can't – we could sit there and do 3 shows on Braden White, who he is as a human being. I mean, he'll be so successful in everything he does in life. It's unbelievable. So that's a great one to fall back on.
You always
Speaking of that, I'll say this. Gilly just made the Giants.
Yes, he did.
So he's in Houston for a couple of years. He just made the 53-man roster with the Giants, too. So
that was the fun part of watching preseason.
Oh, man.
Is seeing all those guys compete. Yeah. Gilly, another organization. You know what I mean? That combination fullback and special teams.
His talent level, and I'm telling you guys, he is athletic. He's got really good ball skills, can catch the football, can cover all your kicks, do the things you got to do. And he's another one. I mean, just wide open, makes you laugh. I mean, sometimes he used to make me cry and laugh at the same time sometimes. But no, he was just an amazing human being and the impact he has on the team.
As we celebrate the centennial of the 12th man.
Yes.
Right?
I think about 100 years.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I mean, it really is.
We touched on the 20th anniversary for the red, white, and blue game, but 100 years of E. King Gill. And we're going to be presenting it all year by Valero. But it's something, Jimbo, that it's not anything that comes top down from a university. This was all organic from and it's the identity of Texas A&M.
It's what A&M is. That's why I say it's genuine people, honest people, great people who love the university, love what they do, and they want everybody around to have that same experience that they have. I mean, it's infectious. I mean, that's the most, the 12th man, the selflessness in it. It's not about me. And in today's world, it's all about me. And I say that probably in the old days it was too. I just wasn't around that many in the old days. But it's just epitomizes what's right about the world.
Yeah.
And to me, that's what the 12th man signifies.
I had to ask Connor if he's practicing running out with the flag.
Oh, that's right.
Because he doesn't want to.
That's right.
I don't know if you want to get too close. He's a little nervous
I
about
tell you,
that.
he might trip and fall. No, he'll be great.
He will be great. He is an absolute piece of work. And you're right. You talk about someone. You spend time with him. He makes your day better.
He does,
doesn't he?
That grin. He ends up smiling and laughing and gets you going.
That is Connor Choate. He is the 12th man for this year's edition of Texas A&M, the 6th-ranked Fighting Texas Aggies, who get started on Saturday against Kent State. We will have much more of the Jimbo Fisher Show. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. Come on back to Rudy's. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. The new Brookshire Brothers across from Kyle Field was built for Aggies. There's a bar serving coffee, wine, and beer, a full-service pharmacy, great values on groceries. You'll love their grab-and-go meals like smoked barbecue. Not supposed to say that here, though. Only at Brookshire Brothers, so much more than a grocery store. We are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. It is the first Jimbo Fisher Show presented by Capital Farm Credit of the season. We will be here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock talking with the head coach. And interesting, we go at 8 because last year you had the opportunity to practice a little bit later during the course of the season. Now, that was a combination of classes because of online and a little bit of everything. It ended up being a very nice move. It's a move that you really like.
We did, and give us a little bit more time in preparation for practice and our game preparation the day of, because at night we're still up there till late. But the coaches and everybody liked that extra little hour that we moved it just for our preparation, make sure it was right, kind of take a deep breath. And the other thing was, we realized those kids are taking classes all the way up to 1:30, 2 o'clock. All of a sudden, you get them for a 2 o'clock meeting. They've already been going at it for 5 or 6 hours hard mentally. It affects them when they get on the field. Not being able to deprogram, get away for an hour, kind of take a deep breath, and then come to learning the mental grind and that toughness as far as being able to apply what you get on the football field. And I always thought it had an effect. And I tried it last year and give them that extra little bit of time off, just an hour before practice, kind of reboot, kind of go, and we liked what we saw, and we'll stay with it.
They really hit the field energetically. Nothing makes me smile more than Kenyon Green, the first offensive lineman.
Oh, they run through that door. Don't, because I tell them every day, if you slip, I'm gonna kick him right in the tail. But I mean, they go at it. It's a race they sprint. Hey, they sprint everywhere. You get out of the indoor after stretching and get to the field first. He wins it every day.
He is something. He told us all on Monday about his unselfishness, and he said, look, I will play anywhere, and one of the reasons why, I get to play.
He's one of the guys that, you talk about old school. It's never about him. And now I'm going to tell you this, and it goes back to two things. One, who he is. Of course, you have to make your own choices, which he makes unbelievable choices. And two, how he was raised. Mm-hmm. His family is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal people. He exemplifies them to the fullest, and his teammates and what he does and who he is as a person. And you want to play guard, you want to play tackle, I play right side, I play. I just want to win. I want to play good. Just it's almost you look at him and say, huh? Did I just hear that? That's just because. And I don't mean that in any way, shape, or form, because kids are told to do that stuff now and how you get there. And here's the other thing: he can play anywhere. That's the other thing. He's been guard, he's been a left tackle, he's been a right tackle. He can go play center.
He had to snap last year.
He had to snap. He can do it in 2 seconds now. He'd be a really good center.
Yeah.
Be a really good center. He's a very talented young man.
You have him on one end, and then you have Jameer Johnson, who you talk about SEC ready, right?
He's been a blessing coming in, boy. He really has. And we've been really happy with the guys behind the young freshmen. But you have a guy who's played in the SEC, started 8 games, I think 7, 8 games. Big body, athletic, tough, hard-nosed. A Philadelphia kid, junior college, coming in and went to Tennessee, then he graduated, transferred in. That's a grad transfer. He's been a lifesaver as far as the depth, the maturity. I tell you what, very intelligent young man. Not just about, because you play and you gain intelligence, you gain experience, but this guy can learn. And he picks things up and he communicates well. He's a great fit to have. Those two on bookends, right on each end of that thing is huge.
But you also have Reuben Fothery. And that you talk about a specimen. Oh,
behind him. Oh, Lord.
He and Bryce Foster, you made a comment Monday. You know what? This isn't freshmen of years past. Oh, it's different now.
It is. And those guys are, and I've been around 2 or 3 guys in my time that, Willie Anderson, Victor Riley, Kendall Simmons, all first-round guys that played as true freshmen and did a great job. But, the maturity, the size, the length, the athleticism, the intelligence, the ball instincts, the power, you know what I mean? Guys, again, but that whole freshman class, I'm going to brag about them. And they haven't done anything yet and all that, but I'm just saying they're going to, before they get out of here, they're going to, and a lot of them, some will play now, some won't. It'll be back and forth, and we'll keep rotation because we've got to build depth in those. But those guys are ready physically, mentally, And, that's got to have the experience to play. But we know, and you got Luke and you got Layden Robinson who played a lot of ball, Aki who's been around and really athletic. So, I mean, it's a good group in there, man. Really good group.
This past spring, did you really say you wanted more Matthewses? You're mad that Luke's the last one?
Yeah, I got on the back end of him. I want all the front end of him. You know what I mean? They just play football. He's such a great kid. I mean, he really is. I mean, and he knows ball. He's smart. I mean, smart. Really intelligent. And what he does really made himself into a really good football player.
And your guards, whether it's Layden Robinson on one side or Aki Agumbi on the other, well, you talked about cartoonish at times. Layden throwing people, and Aki is strong.
They're all strong, athletic, powerful, and they do a really good job. I mean, and I hope they got to go play well. I'm not jinxing them, knock on wood. But and the young guys behind them. I mean, you can move guys in there, but I'm very happy with those guys.
And that's the nice thing about the camp. You can give those snaps to those guys, right?
Well,
learn how to play with one another.
And we do. And in the way we practice, everybody on the team gets the same number of reps. People say, well, how do you do that? We put the ones in. We got a depth chart. It's not a permanent depth chart. We say 1s and 3s on one field, 2s and 4s on the other. And that way you get experience, other guys. And we practice 2 teams at a time. We split the coaches in half because that lets the players get all the reps. You can't learn by standing. Even if you get in, your coaches get split up, and they have to coach more. Makes them better coaches. They got to coach sometimes 2 positions, 1 position. They got to see more. They got to do more. And then we watch it all on film. It's double film watching for us. But the amount of reps and those guys getting those reps and hearing those calls and making the mistakes. Not just making the good plays, but making the mistakes and learning what not to do as well as what to do. So some of those freshmen, am I going to get a chance to play? And they get here. Then you start saying, Coach, I thought you wanted reps. Huh? Be careful what you ask for with the way we practice now. This ain't romper room around here now. We're going to practice hard, and we're still going to do good on good. We still do the good players. I mean, we do our scout team work, but then we still do good on good inside run. We do good on good team and good on 7-on-7 every Tuesday and Wednesday during the season. That's the way you get better. Yeah, it really
and
is. 2 minutes.
And the 2, yeah, which was nice because you incorporate that a little bit later in camp, right? You pick and choose when to do that.
Yeah, about 5 or 6 days in, but that's such a big part of what we do and how we do it.
And it's been so successful for you. And
been blessed. Knock on wood.
Absolutely. He's Jimbo Fisher, head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies. We will continue. You know what? Our very first question of the year when we come back.
Guess who wrote it? Ian. I'll take odds on that one.
Absolutely. Ian, your question is next when we return. The Jimbo Fisher Show is presented by Capital Farm Credit. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. We all know that queso practically flows through the veins of every Texan, and at Costa Vida Fresh Mexican Grill, queso is their pro-style offense. Costa Vida is proud to partner with Texas A&M Athletics. We have a check-in from Connecticut, from D.C., and, Coach, would it really be a show? The Jimbo Fisher Show presented by Capital Farm Credit. F.E. Constantinou from Melbourne, Australia.
Wow.
Checking in. Nick's mom.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
She ought to be proud of him, boy. I'm going to tell you what. You talk about listen, he's a phenomenal punter, but you talk about a great, great human being.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
I know I say that, but he's special.
It seemed every day I walked in Kyle Field, there's Nick kicking on that field all summer, every single day.
If I go up there and work out in the summer, he's out there doing. He's out in the field kicking, or he's in the weight room lifting, or he's out there doing. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I said, does he know when I'm coming? I mean, it's like every time he's already there, he's already working. I mean, and it's just he's such a. You talk about somebody, people make mistakes and do things wrong when they punt and play and get, players are mad. I mean, they're mad because he let people down. Not mad because he messed up as far as he's mad he messed up, but he wants to do it for his team. He is a genuine guy, boy. Talented.
He had never held before, huh?
No.
Does a heck of a job.
Oh, phenomenal job. He had one today. It was just a little bit low, and he picked it around. I mean, just the hands and what he does. He's a good athlete. Yeah. Really good athlete.
Yeah. Okay, so the first question for you is from Ian Curtis.
Who is that
guy? Sometimes he shows up. He's right there in the front row. Coach, for you, what has changed since you took the job at Texas A&M?
I know my way around town. No, I mean, I think what's changed, not changed for me, just reiterated to me why I came here and how happy. Not that I love being I do, but I feel so comfortable here and the people, and they've been so good and the genuineness place. And I think the thing has changed that I really do see. I always thought there could be a tremendous vision here to have success in what you need to do, but what's changed for me, I know it now. I mean, you always hope when you go into somewhere till you get there and you figure it out and you see what's capable of. But I do know it. It has the pieces, and when that time is, hopefully, I'm not. Like I say, we're not patient, but we got to. The things are in place to do it and have the chance to. We just got to keep molding that clay and putting it together and allowing us to reach the highest points that we can reach. And then, like I say, this reiterating everything I thought about the place. I know it's true now.
Ian, thank you.
Very
much.
Great question.
Steve would like to know, how do you judge the offense when you're not playing a Power 5 team?
Execution. The same way. It doesn't matter if you play Power 5 or not. Do you execute what you're supposed to do? All you can do is do your job. How well you do your job, the intensity you do it with, the immediacy you would do it with, the intelligence you do it with, the execution, the precision you do it with, and the understanding of the situations that are played, the down and distance that are played, no different than a Power 5. To me, it's exactly the same. It doesn't matter. Your opponent does not matter. Your opponent does not matter. Your standard matters. Do you meet that standard of how you got to play, how you got to focus, how you got to execute, how you got to do things? Who you play does not matter. It's every game you got to do the same things.
They're going to have to look at that film on Sunday.
Well, and that allows you how to play. As you say, well, they're important games. Well, I said, well, you lose one, they're all important games. But my point is, you talk about guys, how they deal with that pressure, how they deal with that pressure. Every game's the same. Make practice the pressure. And then when you play, it does not matter how you play. You play to your standard, and if your standard's got to raise, you raise your standard and you move on. And that's how you deal with it.
Texas A&M takes on Kent State. We'll look at the Golden Flashes when we return to the Jimbo Fisher Show. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. Football and barbecue lovers know the perfect brisket needs the right wood, and Rudy's smokes all their meats using their delicious signature rubs and 100% oak-fired pits. Get your real Texas barbecue fix today at Rudy's or on the web at rudys.com. It is the Jimbo Fisher Show. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit, and we are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. And Saturday, Kent State comes in, and the Golden Flashes, what do they call it? Flash fast tempo is a word for Saturday.
They go at it. I mean, they're going fast. They can put the ball down. And it's a lot of the old Syracuse offense in which when I was in the ACC that we played against a lot of their coaches and the things they do and what they do. It's the same philosophy. And, of course, it all changes eventually. But, they make their own tweaks and turns of it. But fast, they can put the ball on the ground and get reps, get snaps, get things going. And then defensively, very hectic, a lot of blitzes, stunts, different things up front, a lot of twist movements, very challenging, different coverages. Special teams, they got a transfer in from Syracuse who led the ACC in punt returns, Johnson, who 14 yards of punt return, I think 23 yards of kickoff returns, very dynamic plays in the slot. I mean, they're a very good football team, but they're going to go fast. I mean, they're going to go real fast. It's
something because when it's that, they can sometimes dictate. You may want to be able to change, but you may not have enough time.
Oh, yeah. Your substitutions, all those types of things, you have to really, really be sharp on how you're going to do it and practicing. We've been working the heck out of it, so hopefully we're ready.
It's really looking forward to that offense against this defense, Jimbo, that returns 9 starters from last year. And I've asked you this before, not just guys coming back. You got the right guys coming back.
A lot of experienced guys, talented guys with the right mental makeup to be successful. And along with the other, the guys, there's 4 or 5 of those guys that really came back that was huge. And then the other returning guys that played a lot of ball. So a lot of experience on that side of the ball, which makes you sleep good.
Aaron Hansford changed his number to number 1 because he wants to be the best linebacker in the country. And also he said, I've also learned an awful lot from Buddy Johnson to be that linebacker. And wow. I love that. Like Leon O'Neal Jr., I asked him, you were the one asking questions. Now you got the young guys asking you. It's that transition to an older player, isn't it?
You have to pass on the knowledge, and that's the tradition, the history, the culture, and everything that goes on. And you learn from the guys in front of you. We all did. I did as coaches. I did when I was a player to other players. Those guys do to each other. It's huge.
That culture, right?
Yep.
Culture comes from the players, doesn't it, Jimbo?
I think it comes from the organization. I think it totally comes from the organization, and the players buy into the culture, and then they live the culture. And I think you got to set the tone with you as a coach, but as the administration, the school. I think it's all encompassing. The culture is all encompassing. That everything touches these young men of how that culture is. And you can't have it just about the players. You can't have it just about the coaches. It's got to be about the administration. It's got to be about the schools. It's got to be about the presidents, the chancellor, the AD, the head coach, the assistant coaches. But more importantly, everybody who works in those buildings, everybody who's in academics, everybody who's in the class, everything that touches them has to exemplify excellence and demand the best from them in every way, shape, and form, and for them to conduct themselves with class and dignity.
You see a Chase Lane who might be the greatest ambassador for Every other student athlete, a Keldrick Carper, the blueprint that they did, that initiative, you love to see that kind of outreach from that.
Guys have vision about how to make change in the world. Everybody wants change, but you got to have vision to see it, and then the ability to organize it, and then the guts to go do it. And I think those guys are part of that, no doubt.
One final segment of the Jimbo Fisher Show presented by Capital Farm Credit. When we return to Rudy's, stay with us. This is Aggie Football from Learfield. This is our final segment of the first edition of the Jimbo Fisher Show presented by Capital Farm Credit here at Rudy's. And on Saturday, Aggies, Kent State, 6 o'clock, our St. Joseph Health pregame show, 7:02 the kick. Jimbo, the lower bowl will be blue, the middle will be white, and the top will be red. 20 years ago, that happened here. What a story at that. 20 years after 9/11, when Jimbo, we weren't sure how we were going to get out of that.
No.
It was incredibly difficult.
I can remember I was actually coaching LSU at the time, sitting there getting ready to play. We're getting ready to play Auburn in the third game of the year. And sitting at the end of the table in the offensive staff room and going through film, just watching. And one of the guys walked out and said, a plane just flew into the World Trade Center. And I said, what? I mean, I didn't get up and go see the TV. I said, what? Somebody must, somebody had a heart attack, something happened, plane just malfunctioned, couldn't control it. Why would somebody, I never dreamed that way. And then just a few minutes later, they said, another one did. I said, what? They're saying now it's possible terror. It was just, it was almost shock. You sat there for a second going, then of course got up, looked at the TV, and got involved and really saw what was happening, and then the tragedy and everything else that just kept happening. It was, I can remember it to this day. There's always things that happen in your lifetime. You know exactly where you were when they happened that were there, and it was very tragic to our country. But it was amazing how we bounced back and what we did and how we unified and how sports was a big part of that.
Sports
was a huge part of that. It really did. I know we canceled our game that week, and then we played, after that. But it was a huge part of healing our country, and the baseball games and all that stuff, and then the football games. It was a huge part, and we have to remember. Like I say, people forget freedom isn't free. No. Our country isn't free. Nothing's perfect in your country, but we got the best one by far, not even close. And nowhere else I'd rather live and be. And the people who have sacrificed for this country to have what we have, what we owe them, the appreciation we have to show them. And what's funny, they don't think you owe them nothing. That's the people who really do it don't feel that way. But I do. And there's nothing that's more appreciative of people who go fight and lay their life on the line for the things that we have and what we have in our country, and the honor those folks, and then the honor the people that happened on 9/11. Yeah. The tragedy, they were just in work, and unfortunately that happened. And those things just don't happen on our soil. Right. And you can remember, it's a sad day.
Are you looking forward to running out to 100,000 and maybe 38,000 students?
Yeah, that is awesome. 38,000 students. That's 100,000 people in general. That's awesome. But 38,000 students standing in the whole game, it just their commitment to A&M and what it means and who it is, and it's just A&M. All you got to say is A&M. Yeah. And it covers everything. And I know that sounds cliche, but there isn't enough words. You can just keep saying them. You can make them up. But it is what it is. They love it. Yeah, and we know how loud it was for 25%. Can't wait for 100%. I said Dan Mullen's going to hear us in Gainesville. Come on, Dan Mullen. No, come on. And no, it was. And it's just great to get back out, and appreciation for the fans and the people and the support we've had and the things that happened. And that's just a tremendous place to go play a game. And, it's our job and our responsibility to put a great product on the field that plays their tails off, that represents everything about A&M. Because, like I say, we're the front porch of that university. That's the thing that people see and that is publicized. Can't get 20, 15 million people to watch it on TV. There's nothing. Very many things that do that, or 100,000 people to do it. And we're going to honor that with great performance as far as the dignity and the way we do it. So to honor the people of A&M. Beat the hell out of Kent State on Saturday, Coach. Thank you very much. You got it. This has been the Jimbo Fisher Show. It's presented by Capital Farm Credit as we are back at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. And we will join you on Saturday, 6 o'clock for our St. Joseph Health pregame show. Dave Elmendorf with me in the booth, Will Johnson on the sidelines, and the kick will be at 7:02, and you can hear it all along the network. For Kevin Menchow, our engineer, for Tony O'Neill, our producer, for the head coach of the Fighting Texas Aggies, Jimbo Fisher, I'm Andrew Monaco. Thank you all for being here. We'll talk to you next week, and we will see you on Saturday. This is Aggie Football from Learfield.